Buying a house can be very exciting, particularly when it is your first house. But ease off. Don't go overboard. Don't get too romantic, which people can do. It all needs a lot of planning and a lot of input from a lot of people. Even before you start looking, go for a property and try and get your loan approval first. Go to your bank, give them all the information they require, and see how much you can borrow and over what period. You must carefully consider interest rates and whether they are fixed, and of course, the period of the loan. Very shortly after getting your loan approval, you should select a solicitor to take care of the purchase and the title. Now, a solicitor in this country is a lawyer. Shop around and get the best price for the solicitor's work, and be sure to check out also what other items are charged for. For instance, there is stamp duty, land registry fees and search fees and other fees. Don't select a firm of solicitors just because they are the cheapest. And whatever you do, be sure that you're getting a fully qualified solicitor to do the work. Many firms offer a very good deal, but they're not giving you the benefit of a fully qualified lawyer. So this is very important. When you know how much you can borrow, and when you know what will it cost to deal with the whole legal process, then you'll have a very good idea of how much money you'll have to put up yourself. Now the difficult bit. You have to find a house within your budget. Lots of things need consideration. For instance, how far is your house from your job? How far is it from your family? Is it in a good neighbourhood? Where are the schools? Where is the public transport? Is it on a floodplain? Or is it near a river? Or is it near the sea? All of these factors have varying degrees of importance. I mention rivers and the sea in particular since we're going through a period of climate change. You are probably buying for the long haul and want to avoid, if possible, a situation where your home may become flooded. If you're insured, the insurance company will take up the financial aspect, but putting the property back to its original state will give you a huge amount of heartache and hard work. Furthermore, a property once flooded will probably be flooded again. This will render it difficult and expensive to get adequate insurance in the future. If you can't get insurance company, then on the second occasion you will have to pay for the damage yourself. Furthermore, you will find it very difficult to sell the property in the future, since an incoming purchaser who cannot get insurance against flooding won't be able to get a mortgage, so you won't actually be able to sell the house. And most people are borrowers these days, so effectively you end up with a house that you can never sell. So watch out. How close are you to water? Be it the sea or a river, and if you are near either of these, check out on the insurance and check out as to whether there has been flooding in the area. Another important aspect to consider is the orientation of the house. If you are buying in the winter months, you mightn't even notice. It's nice, however, to have a west or southwesterly facing back garden. This means you can enjoy those summer evenings with your barbecue in the sun. If you have a north-facing back garden, it will be cold at any time, and the sunshine would probably be on the wrong side of the house. Once you've found a property, the auctioneer will probably ask you for what is known as a booking deposit. Generally, they'd seek around €5,000, and this money is paid on a refundable basis. Be sure to get a receipt. The purpose of a booking deposit is to show that you are genuinely interested in the property. And the auctioneer at that stage will take the property off the market. But remember that at this early stage, neither the seller nor yourself are legally bound to go ahead. The auctioneer could come back and say, deal's off, seller doesn't want to go ahead, and you yourself can change your mind and say you don't want to go ahead either. If you see a property that you fall in love with, therefore, and still need to do a bit of investigation, it can be a wise move on your part to put down that booking deposit and then carry out a lot of further investigation before you are legally committed. If it turns out that there is some particular problem about the property, you can also withdraw. But the advantage is that for a short period, the property is technically, but not legally, yours. There are many properties on the market at the moment and a big demand. So the quicker you move, the better, and put down that booking deposit. Don't dilly-dally, just get your receipt and carry out your further investigations. The auctioneer will also ask you for details of the name and address of your own solicitor, and the auctioneer will then tell the seller's solicitor to send out contracts to your solicitor. This is where you have the breathing space. You are not bound to purchase it legally at this point. It can take anything up to a month for contracts to arrive in your own solicitor's office. So you've all of this time to carry out your own investigations on the property, view the neighbourhood, arrange a valuation for your bank, and arrange a structural survey. Once you have arranged your valuation, you will need to send it on to your bank, and subject to the valuation being acceptable, the bank will then send on your official loan pack, or it will go to your solicitor's office. When your solicitor is in receipt of the contracts, he or she will go through the title and ascertain that everything is in order. He or she will recommend that you get a structural survey done on the property. You will also be made aware of the BER rating. Now, this is the energy rating, and it is very important these days. When you buy a house in this country, the principle of caveat emptor applies. You buy the house as you find it. It is therefore absolutely vital that you get this structural survey done. There are no second chances. This is not an expensive procedure, and normally it works out at less than €500. So, something to put in your budget. A structural survey can reveal all sorts of difficulties that you mightn't expect. For example, there could be serious dampness in the property, and if you're buying in summer, you mightn't notice that. There could be issues regarding planning permission, and there could be extensions which are illegal. There could be dry rot. Again, you mightn't notice that. You could also arrange that your surveyor do a planning search, or you could do it yourself. But this is very important because there could, for example, be road widening, or there could be factories going to be erected, or there could indeed be missile sites, although that's less likely. You should be sure to check at the very start with your solicitor as to what contents are included in the deal. When you go into a house, you might see lovely furniture, beds, all the rest of it, and think you're getting those. But unless they're specifically agreed, they're not yours and you're not going to get them. So check with your solicitor what is agreed. Once the valuation and the structural survey has been done and your solicitor is happy with the title, contracts are exchanged at that point, and there is then a legal binding agreement. You can't get out, and nor can the seller. You must go ahead. A closing date is also agreed, and by that is meant that is the day the deal is finished and you move in. When you sign the contracts, you will normally be asked for a further deposit, bringing the total deposit up to 10% of the purchase price. After signing of contracts, your solicitor will raise what's called requisitions on title, and he or she will go through the title deeds and the title aspect, and this will be done in very great detail. He or she will then requisition your loan cheque, and when it arrives, you will be asked for the balance of the funds necessary to complete the purchase, plus the legal fees and other expenses which you have already agreed. He or she will then complete the purchase and get your deeds. You will attend the office to sign the transfer and other documents. It is now time, at last, to move into your new home. Before moving and parting with your money, you should do a final inspection. This is very important, just to see that that lovely house which you saw in the early days is still the same as the one you're going to get. A word of caution. If you're buying from a reputable firm of auctioneers, it's fine to hand over a booking deposit. But if you're buying from the individual directly, and he's not represented by an auctioneer, You should under no circumstances hand over any money. Just get the name of the seller's solicitor and get the money sent by your own solicitor to the seller's solicitor. Now, if you have any questions in relation to purchasing a house, please do not hesitate to give me a call. If you would like my firm to represent you in any transaction, we'd be quite happy to do so and very happy to give you a quote.